everybody, and welcome to Ask the Knights Live, the show where we try to ask wonderful knights questions that you guys want to know. And I think hopefully it is working now. We had a little bit of a glitch in the system. Yep, we got Killian's wonderful wife Penelope in the chat. I swear if this is another problem. Okay, we're getting views. Fantastic. Okay. Are you there, Artemisia? It's me, Little John. So today we have a wonderful show. We've got two amazing knights, and we actually have two amazing barons with us today. Out here in the wonderful kingdom of Artemisia, in the barony of Bronzehelm. It's technically where I live too. And we have well, let's just go ahead and let's just introduce everybody. Let's start with Sir Till. Sir Till, are you coming in clear?
I think so. Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Sounds like a robot again.
Do I need to leave and come back in again?
Possibly.
All right.
I'm not 100% sure if that's going to fix it. I think it just might be the phone mic itself, but it comes and goes.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, much better.
Oh, it is. Okay. All right, go ahead, Till. Tell us who you are and how long you've been a knight. And
All right. I'm Sir Till the Lucky. I've been a knight for coming around on 13 years now. Anything else? What do I need to say?
was the first Baron of Bronzehelm.
Oh, yeah. There's that.
The first Baron of Bronzehelm. And you, sir.
I'm Sir Killian Callaway. I'm the second Baron of Bronzehelm and current Baron of Bronzehelm. I've been a knight since 8 years now in July, and I've been playing since about 2005.
That's about 8 years or something to
Something like that, yeah.
And as I stated previously, but nobody was here to know it, both of these fighters are lefties, and Effin is deathly allergic to lefties, and I think that is absolutely hilarious. I don't know if I told him that before the
I have a limit of 2 per day when it comes to fighting.
2 per day, he says. Yeah. 2 lefty ass kickings per day. So let's go ahead and start off with you, Sir Killian. How did you get started in the SCA?
Let's see. My real first start in the SCA was Her Excellency Ramut took me to a newcomers revel when I was I want to say sophomore or junior in high school, and we went to the event and learned about the SCA, and I found out that I'll need parental permission to be able to fight, and I was like, there's no way my parents are going to sign off on that. So that was about as far as that went at that point. I'm like, I'm really not going to be able to participate in my mind, because in my mind as a 16-year-old adolescent, the only thing about the SCA that interested me was fighting. And years later, my sister moved to West Kingdom and started going to events there, and she called me up and said, "Oh, you got to come check this out. It's amazing. Like camping with 800 of your closest friends. You got to come check it out." So my roommates and I went down and went to a Beltane event in West Kingdom. That was probably around, I want to say 2003. And her boyfriend at the time said he would give me his armor if I decided to start fighting. And so I finally went up and got his armor in 2005 in July, and then Till took me to the park and started teaching me how to fight. And then I started playing locally at that time. So His Excellency was the first person I ever fought in armor.
That's pretty cool.
Wow. I didn't remember that. I mean, I remember helping you, but I didn't know that I was the first one.
Yep. Yeah, not the first person that ever hit me in armor. That would have been Fergus. Because that was one of the rules when he gave me the armor. It's like, all right, well, I got to make sure it works. So I'm going to hit you. No, don't close your eyes. I want you to see this coming. This is what you're going to get. Yeah. So he was the first person to hit me in armor. Till was the first person I got to hit back.
Gotcha. All right, Sir Till, how did you get started in the SCA?
Oh, back in 1991, I was attending the University of Montana in Bozeman, and I saw in the school newspaper this article about sword fighters in the park, and I was like, "Oh my God, I got to go see this!" And went down there, saw Sir Avalok and his squire Pellinor fighting, and then it was amazing. And I've never looked back. I jumped in and um, uh, been in it ever since. So 91 was my start.
I was born in '90, so you can just imagine. 31 years ago.
This is why no one likes you.
You can definitely hit him for that.
Sir Till, what is it that keeps you coming back to the SCA?
Oh my God. It's like my family. It's friends. I've got children that have grown up in the SCA and are now, one's a kingdom officer and the other one's a local officer, and they play as hard as I do. So, if not harder. So, the friendships, I love the fighting. The fighting's just, been something that I've been in love with for a long time.
And you, Sir Killian, what keeps you coming back to the SCA?
Oh, it's definitely the people. Whenever we're doing demos or anything, like the Renaissance Festival, anything like that, I always explain to people that I have never met a better bunch of people than I have in the SCA. I mean, I know that we can travel anywhere that there's a presence in the SCA, and we'll find people that are willing to meet up with us, hang out, go have a drink, do some fighting, have dinner. Most of the time they'll be willing to put you up for the night if you need a place to stay. It's some of the best people I've ever met. And I've definitely found a second family in the SCA. I mean, our household, you're aware of it since your wife is part of our household, and my wife is part of Till's household. So, and between that and my night, it's another family completely. And it also helps that my family plays as well. As I mentioned, my sister played in West Kingdom, and they recently moved to South Carolina. My parents started playing shortly after I got involved, and we had events out at their farm, and they enjoy it every bit as much as we do. So it's definitely the people that keep us coming back.
Absolutely. And so I don't know when everybody else knows, but just so the people at home know, we've had your night, Killian, on the show before. So go ahead and tell everybody who your night is.
Oh, my night is Sir Damon, or excuse me, His Grace, Duke Damon McMillan. I was knighted to him, or squired to him, a long time ago. We do the math every now and then, but can never seem to get it marked down. But he was my knight for, I think, around 7 years before I was knighted.
Okay. And Till, who was your knight? And can you tell us a little bit about your knight?
Oh, sure. My knight was the first knight of Bronzehelm, Sir Danu Thorgerson. He was knighted to, or he was squired to a knight from Salt Lake area, Sir Cormac, who was had been squired to Sir Robert Despenser. So.
Okay.
So there's my.
There was some.
Oh, also,
yeah. Well, there's
that's put this in
too, but.
Let me put this in. I was knighted by Killian's knight, Duke Dame. then our King Damon, it was his first reign. He knighted me. He was the one that knighted me. So we're all related
Uh,
up in the north. You
as
know how it is.
Hall, yeah, as Thor Hall mentioned in the chat there. But there was we were at an after party after an event, and there was a little bit of confusion who Danu's knight was. I think Thor Hall made the comment there was Dirt, and then there was Danu.
Well, yeah.
Just wanted to make sure everybody got that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into some little nitty gritty stuff. But let's start with Killian on this question. What is something that you look for when taking a squire?
I look a lot for longevity. I look for someone who's not in it just to go out and fight every now and then, but someone who actually looks like they intend to be on the path to knighthood. I mean, it's not necessarily a prowess thing for the fighters that I look for. My first squire was fairly new to fighting still when I took her as a squire. So, I mean, it's not something that I look for as the primary. I look for someone who has the potential to be a knight and the desire to be a knight, and that I think is going to stick around and walk the path with me.
Absolutely a damn good fighter too. She made quarters in the last crown tournament, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
So
yeah, she's definitely shown the potential that I saw in her from the beginning. So I love to see it.
Yeah. I see Thor Hall's in the chat. Thor Hall, is Vegas with you?
Oh, of course she is.
Of course she is. Yeah, Vegas, we love you. We think you're a badass. And so we're moving over to Baby Bacon. so we're moving over to you, and Effin and Annora want to ask the question, but I'll go ahead and ask it. Why me?
Oh, I just take anybody. You know,
Pickings are slim up here in Bronzhelm.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty slim. I just take whatever. Yeah, what I saw is a guy who is in the farthest reaches of the SCA, right? You're out there. There's no one around you for what 100 miles at least that plays.
4.5-hour drive, yeah.
Yeah. So, one of the things I was very proud of you was when you had a handful of people fighting in what were you in Wolf Point at that time? I don't remember where you were, but you had like a handful of people fighting, and I'm like, and you were training them, and I was like, well, that's what a knight would do if he was in Wolf Point. He would gather up people and train them how to fight, so that he'd have people to fight with, and so I was pretty proud of you for that. And I know, it's understandable that people fall away from it and stuff, and especially in such a tiny area as sparsely populated. So,
I mean, but it's the best thing that we can do is, you find nerds and you give them a stick and you tell them that they can hit people. So,
yeah.
And we'll go ahead and ask the same question. What are some things that you look for when you're taking a squire?
Mostly that desire. I really like when someone has that desire to fight, and it's gonna stick, that stick to itiveness. Those are the guys that I'm wanting, and it doesn't always work out that way. I've got a handful of inactive squires, but that's how it is.
And win some, lose some.
It happens.
But I mean, you're the two that are the most active are doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Shameless self.
Thank you for Oh, the comment was cursed. Oh, there we go. I try. I'm also trying to play my squire brother Valor as much as I can. I know he's injured and he still comes out and does stuff, but I'm proud of everything that he's been trying to accomplish and
Yeah.
whatnot. So um so Till, what is something that you wish you knew as a squire that you know now?
Something that I wish I knew as a squire?
That you know
I don't
now.
know. Maybe that I would eventually get knighted because I thought I would. There was a time when I was like, well, I probably won't get knighted. I'm the smallest, weakest of my tribe, right? I'm 5'6". And I just not an athletic person at all. I was one of those guys that was last picked, on the schoolyard games. So, I at one point I thought I'd never get knighted, and when it happened, it was a total surprise. So,
Well, I mean, you stuck to it and you achieved the goal. And I think there was another night on another one of the shows that made that comment that once you get to that point where you're like, that's it, I think I'm just gonna quit. I give up. I just can't do it anymore. That's that point where you know you've reached it. And if you just push a little bit further, you're gonna get there. So I think that was probably that point.
yeah, well, that's a little different from mine. I loved the fighting, and I continued to do it. I'm like, I was always the guy that was always at fighter practice. It was like, and I had hundreds of fighter practices that were me and one other guy. And it would just go through, but I love fighting. So, I stuck with it because it's enjoyable and, it's a challenge. And, I love putting my skill against other people's skills. So that's, to me, that's just, that's the fun part of our sport.
Very true. And you, Sir Killian, what is something that you wish you knew as a squire that you know now?
Get the training while you can. After you get knighted, it's a bit harder to track down. You gotta actively look for training to get better at fighting. As a squire, you've got all these knights that are coming at you saying, "Hey, look, this is what you need to do. This is how you need to improve, and these are the steps you need to take." And after you become knighted, it's like, oh well, he's a knight. He should know this. Nobody tries to train you anymore. They're not as forthcoming with the information because, well, you're already a knight. You're competition. So I think that's the one thing that I kind of wish I'd known, because it was a lot easier to learn more about fighting and to train more in fighting when I was a squire. Once I got knighted, it became more work to learn stuff, which isn't necessarily bad, but it's harder. Come on now.
I never looked at it that way.
Neither did I. That's why I wish I'd known that when I was a squire.
That's very interesting. Yeah, I never looked at it that way. It's like that idea that once you've reached that that level of oh well, you're part of the circle now. No one's going to teach you anything. Now we're just going to make sure that you're down on that level, so that we can stay up here on our level to always have that edge.
Yep.
That's pretty interesting.
It's not like they actively
That's
work
interesting.
against you getting better, but they're just not nearly as forthcoming with the information as they were prior to being knighted. Like I said, at some point they're like, well, you're a knight now, so you can figure it out. You've made it this far. So, yeah. Uh-oh.
Next question. Come on. Keep it
Edward's
rolling.
frozen.
You never want to have dead air. Come on.
Uh-huh. All right. Oh. Hardest part about training and teaching someone. For me, it's been the fact that I'm left-handed and all my squires are right-handed. It's a lot harder to teach them. Whenever I go out and try to teach my squire something, I have to turn it around in my head and remember that everything's backwards for them because, I'm left and they're not right. So that's probably been the hardest thing for me.
Oh, I think I'm frozen. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you, Till.
Oh, all right.
What's the hardest thing for you to teach?
Wow. Most of my squires are really big.
Oh, there we go.
And I'm
Yeah,
short.
yeah.
Hey.
I came in at just the right time. I heard most of my squires are really big.
I've got one small left-handed, but he's broken and can't fight anymore. So he's got all kinds of metal in his shoulders and stuff that preventing him from being able to fight much. So, so I got the one little left-handed guy, and then a handful of giants. So, I can't teach them how. I don't know how to take advantage of that height that they have. Though you guys use it against me a lot. So that apparently you're learning something.
Where do we leave off at? Hardest thing to teach?
Hardest thing to teach.
Hardest thing to teach. That's what we just
Hardest
covered.
thing to teach.
Being tall. I can't teach that.
Yeah, that's true. You can't teach height. What do you think is one of the most important aspects of being a knight?
Aspects of being a knight. Oh man. Wow. I don't know how to answer that. What's hard about being a knight? I mean, all right. Here's what's hard for me is continuing to grow in your fighting. It's tough. It's been tough for me. I'm 54 now. It's like I feel like I've feel like my body's going downhill now. It's like but continuing to grow has always been a tough part for me, and I've always desired that. I've always wanted to get better, but that continuous growth after United, it's like we know lots of knights that have just dropped off the face of the earth. I got my accolade and now I'm done. I don't have to fight anymore. Well, I love fighting, so I'm not going to stop. So.
Yeah. There are too many knights out there that are like, I beat the game. That's it for me. That's as far as I need to go. It's like there's so much more.
Did you do all the side quests? I don't think so.
I don't think so. There's so many side quests. How many of your squires have been knighted? That's a side quest right there.
Oh, there you go.
Something to aim for, right? What was the question? Did we lose John again?
Yeah, it looks like it. The question was the hardest thing.
Oh, yeah. Hardest thing. For me, I think the hardest thing has been realizing that someone's always watching you. Someone's always looking at you as a knight. And you have to sometimes remind yourself that you can't do all the stupid stuff that you used to do because people are watching you now. You have to be an upstanding inspiration to so many. And sometimes it's hard to keep that going when it's like, I just want to go be different, go be goofy, go be stupid. And it's like, oh yeah, I probably shouldn't do that now because I'm somebody's first knight that they're ever going to meet. What kind of impression am I going to leave on them?
Yeah.
And I have to take that responsibility. So sometimes that's hard.
Yeah.
Expansions, yes.
Oh, I don't.
Did we lose a host?
I think we lost the
Yeah,
host again. Again. It's hard to find good hosts these days, I tell you. Or hard to find good internet connections these days.
Internet connections, yeah. Well, I'm sure it's even harder in Wolf Point.
Right?
So where was John at the end there? Oh, he's back.
He was asking us
he's back again.
the toughest part of being a knight.
Yeah.
Gosh. Are you guys there?
Are you
Welcome
there,
back, John.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. No, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the smoke or something, but my internet is just not doing well today.
Yeah, smoke really gets to the internet.
Well, we have that Elon Musk Skynet stuff, man.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Oh, what's our next question there, buddy?
Well, let me pull up my list now that everything's crashed out on me. What was the last thing I asked?
What was the hardest thing about being a knight?
Okay. Geez, where am I at? Okay. All right. So, what do you think is that is the most weirded the whole geez, Thorall. That is the weirdest weird this weird way of
We'll rearrange it
okay.
and
I'm
say it.
I'm trying to read it. I can't read. Yeah, sound it out, boy. So, what do you think is one of the most important important things that you're? How is this worded?
I don't know. We can't read it.
This question, God. Okay, what do you think is the most important aspect that you're trying to teach your squire on their path to knighthood? My gosh, I need to contact who sent me that.
The most important aspect?
Yeah, like as you're trying to teach your squires, what do you think is one of the most important things for them to learn?
Most important thing that I think our squires can learn, at least my squires, it's okay to lose. As long as you lose with your honor intact, that's acceptable. Any loss that you learn something from, that's also acceptable. It's okay to lose. You don't have to win every fight. You don't have to win every tournament. You don't have to win any tournaments. As long as you go out and you fight with honor, that's all we can really ask for.
I dig it. Sir Till, same question.
Oh, an important aspect. Just what I find, and I find it kind of difficult to communicate it to my squires, is you need to become a well-rounded person in the SCA. I mean, like the fighting, yeah, that's our focus, right?
Hmm.
But there's so much more to it than that, and you need to kind of find those other um, niches in the SCA and kind of fill those up. You know, um, of course, the arts and sciences and service are are those are focal points and stuff. But there's a lot more to it too. Um, how do you teach? Having a love for the history. And I love the history. I'm like, that's what attracted me. It's like knights and castles and swords, and oh my, that's I want to learn more about that. And so that's kind of difficult to teach someone, because that tends to be something that's in them already, and so hopefully I can help coax that out in my squires, but I find it kind of difficult.
Okay, that's fair. I've got one more question. I know we're at the halfway mark, but I've got one more question on my list, and then we're going to get to our viewer questions. But do you think that the path to knighthood has changed? And do you think if it has changed, do you think it's been for the better or for the worse? And why? Very long drawn out question. Sir Till.
Yeah, I do believe it's changed. I think our knights have gotten better and better as the years have gone by, and and of course that bar that everyone is measured by keeps going up. But I think it's a good thing, because we're creating an excellence in our field that and I think that's just it's kind of it's needed. I mean, back in the early '90s when I started, uh, the guy I squired to, Sir Danu, um, he was a thug out on the battlefield. He beat people because he was stronger and more determined. he was he was just gonna beat you into submission and stuff. Um, and you look at the knights today, and there's so much finesse in our fighting. Damon's taken some stuff and from like his interest in sports and transferred it into his fighting, and it's just made him excel like crazy. I used to get to beat the guy up and stuff, but he's excelled way past you know my prowess. So
All right, Sir Killian.
Uh,
Throw the question
yeah,
back up just in case.
yeah, go ahead, put the question back up because I was short. I do believe that it has changed, and for the most part, I think it has changed for the better.
Okay.
I don't know. I like to think that it should continue to change for the better. I mean, it shouldn't remain the same forever, because we grow as a society, and some of the aspects, like I don't think that the prowess is necessarily the top aspect that we should look for in knights, because I mean, yeah, being good on the field is great and all, but if you're great on the field and you're an asshole, then that doesn't really do anything for the knighthood. That's not the kind of person we want representing us.
Fair point.
And so we have to grow, and having all the service, especially. I mean, services, we are a big service household. We're a big service kingdom. Our kingdom is very big on service, and as we should be, because that's what we as a society are here for. We're here to be there for each other. And service is all a big part of that. The arts and sciences are also equally as important. You know, you should, I mean, not everybody is blessed with the talents that our artisans are, but that doesn't mean you can't try. It doesn't mean you can't do something. There's so many different arts out there that you can always find something to do. If nothing else, you can take classes and learn. I mean, even that is showing the interest in helping drive the knighthood to be what we should be. And in my opinion, that is, you know, we are the for lack of better terms, the figurehead. You know, we're the people that are the most visual on the field, the most visible at events. When people look around, and they should be able to look at us and be like, oh, there's a knight over there. I could tell just by looking at him. I mean, even if he doesn't have his accoutrements on, you know, just the way that we present ourselves should be what identifies us as knights. And honestly, that's what we should be looking for in potential squires as well, is those people that they present themselves as knights. They act as knights. So, yeah, I think it has changed, and I think it should continue to change. It may not always change for the better, but the hindsight's 2020. We won't know if it's changed for the worse until we find out it's worse.
That's a fair point too. And I do completely agree. It takes no talent whatsoever to do service.
Yeah.
Takes no talent to do service. So we'll go ahead and start with the viewer questions. And we have the lovely Penelope, who is Killian's wife. We have a question here. What is a personal goal for yourself after you became a knight? And we'll start with Sir Killian.
Personal goal.
Personal goal.
Gosh. Well, one of the first personal goals that I had, obviously, once I became a knight, I did not take a squire for the first year that I was a knight. I felt I needed to discover myself as a knight before I took a squire, something that other knights that I've known and respected have also mentioned to me once they got knighted, you know, and I started asking them about squires. But one of my personal goals is I would like to take on a squire and have one of my squires knighted. I feel that that's a very important part of being a knight, is that we're not here just to be the figureheads, but also to teach the new generations. And, you know, without the new generations, we're going to grow stagnant and disappear. So it's very important that we continue on these traditions of squiring and getting our squires knighted. So that was my personal goal.
Absolutely. And you, Sir Till, what is a personal goal for yourself after you became knighted?
Yeah. So I was knighted in 2010. And I had kind of given up on thinking that I would get knighted. I was always trying to improve, but, you know, it's like, well, you know, maybe my skill level will never reach that, you know, that peak. So after I got knighted, I really wanted to make other people think that I was worthy of being a knight. So I tried to improve my fighting as best I could. Try to, you know, improve on my kit. Yeah, just anywhere I could, you know, anything I could do to make people think that I was a knight, you know. So
Just really trying to step up to that.
live up to the expectations that they had just suddenly thrown upon me. So, yeah.
I mean, that's definitely a decent goal. Alrighty. What is the most basic advice you can give to a new fighter?
Basic
Sure,
advice
Phil.
to give to a new fighter. I think just enjoy yourself. If you enjoy the fighting, and I think you will improve. You know, I mean, you got to put the time in. You know, and there's a lot of different things that you can do to that time in. You know, falls under, but just enjoy it.
All right. Sir Killian, what is the most basic advice you can give to a new fighter?
Hit them before they hit you. Yeah, pointy end goes in that guy. If you can't hit him in the head, no, never mind.
No J shots. No J shots. Jesus.
Yeah, really, it goes back to my previous statement that it's okay to lose. You go out there and you have a good time.
Yeah.
You know, go out there, fight with honor, have fun, enjoy yourself. I mean, this is what we're here for.
Yeah.
And like Sir Till says, I love fighting. It's a blast to me. There's nothing like it that I've ever experienced anywhere. So I hope that I can see that in new fighters. And you can tell when you get a new fighter and their face just lights up when they hit you, or when we're doing a demo and you let the kids, you know, hit you in the helmet with a sword, and you see their face light up when they hit you. That's like, oh yeah, this is somebody that can be a fighter in the future, because that's the kind of face that we get when we fight. So
very true.
Just go have fun, hit them before they hit you.
Absolutely. This next one comes from Thor Hall, and it looks like he's probing for advice here. What are you looking for in an unbelt fighter that makes them knight worthy?
This one's for me, right? The first?
Yep, that one's for you.
Personally, I look for it's a lot in a way you carry yourself. The way that you handle your victories, the way you handle your defeats. An unbelted fighter that can take a loss and be like, okay, yeah, that was good. I fought well. It didn't go my way, but whatever. It was a well-fought round or tournament or whatever, what have you. You know, someone that can, I don't know, conduct themselves with composure regardless of the outcome. That's one of the big things for me. I've seen a lot of unbelted fighters that, you know, they get really angry when they lose, and they're like, you know, oh, I couldn't get that guy to take my shots for nothing. It's like, you know what? You didn't feel the shots. We are in an honor-based fighting system. Mm-hmm. You have to have faith that your opponent is fighting you in good faith. And even if they're not, you still have to keep the faith. You have to. Because otherwise our whole fighting system falls apart. So I look for that composure on and off the field.
Sir Till.
Love of the game, you know. I just when that shows through, that's what what I like. But you know, comporting themselves in a knightly manner before their night. You know, you see those guys out there that are, you know, that, you know, are already acting like a knight, and that's what you look for, is those guys that are already the knight inside themselves. So just be the knight.
Yeah,
expressing those PLQs.
I will say, not those guys that think that they should be knighted already.
Yeah,
that's a different set. Because you see those guys out there too that are like, you know what, I'm already doing everything. Why haven't they knighted me? Well, first off, if you're playing this game to get knighted, you're playing it for the wrong reasons. I mean, if you're meant to be a knight, you will become a knight.
Mm-hmm.
I went into the SCA knowing that if I put forth the time and the effort, that eventually I would be knighted. I wasn't on a timeline. I wasn't in any hurry to be knighted. I knew that it would happen when I was ready for it to happen. And we get a lot of guys out there that are like, well, why haven't I been knighted? What am I doing wrong? It's not necessarily about what you're doing. It's just that the right people haven't noticed you doing what you're doing at the right time. And a lot of times you're not going to become a knight. You're going to be recognized as a knight. You're already a knight if you're a knight in your heart. And you just keep playing the game for the love of the game. It's not a prize. It's a recognition of just you being you.
Right. I like that. Just be yourself. Be the knight, and everyone will recognize that you're a knight.
All righty. Rahmoot, our wonderful Rahmoot, asks, what is your favorite art or science? And also, what is your favorite form of service? And I believe, Till, this one is yours to start.
So my favorite art and stuff, I love the medieval games. I'm a gamer
Oh, yeah.
of all
Absolutely.
sorts. And boy, when I found, it was like, oh, look at these interesting games. My favorite right now is the Nevatafel, the
Mm-hmm.
King's Table. It's the Viking. It's an odd game that's it's not symmetric. It's non-symmetric. The sides are uneven. It's a really interesting game. Kind of a precursor to chess thing. I love researching and finding out more about medieval games that would so I've built handfuls of boards, and I'm really interested in trying to make my own pieces for them. It's crafting. I like crafting. I'm a crafter. I craft things.
No, I played you.
But
I
then
played you in Apple, and
service.
you were really good.
um, I to me, I think one of the things my father taught me was many hands makes light work. So just that helping of other people with in everything that we've got so much stuff that we do that's a lot of work in an SCA. Setting up a camp can wipe you out, especially after like a 9-hour drive or more. Done that recently where we drove 9 hours and then set up camp, and you get wiped out, but if you can take a little extra to help someone else out with their camp, it just setting up, pounding steaks, whatever you can do, carrying things for them. That's always kind of been my thing, is like, how can I help you so that we can all get to the enjoyment part? So
Absolutely. Sir Killian, what is your favorite art or science? And also, what is your favorite form of service?
Well, my favorite art and science are really all the ones that I have no talent for. I love all the illuminations. I love all the blacksmithing work is amazing. The leather working is amazing. My wife does these beautiful, over here, silk banners. They're wonderful. I don't have a lot of artistic talent in me. So those are all my favorites. So the ones that I can't do because they're so pretty and I can't make them. But I like to try every now and then. But at the same time, I love when they're showing the illuminations in court, or when we're showing the illuminations in court even. They're just breathtaking, a lot of them. All of them, really. I mean, the time and effort that goes into them, you can see it when you're looking at the art. And it's one of those things that I just look at. I'm like, I don't understand that. I don't understand how you can just do that and have it come out looking like that.
Penelope says you sing.
Yeah, sure.
He's a great singer. If only he would sing for me more often.
Yeah. Not today.
We should collab. Do you want to do a collab?
No.
No. We should. We should definitely do that.
Let's see. My favorite form of service, definitely right along Till's lines there. I'm a big fan of carrying stuff because it's what I was bred for. You know, my parents had my sister. She's 5 years older than me. And after 5 years, they said, okay, now we need a boy child to lift the heavy stuff. So Dad went to the library, researched how to have a boy child, and I'm the result. So I get to help move stuff from one side of the yard to the other side of the yard. I'm really good at carrying heavy stuff. So, yeah, that's
one of the best. One of the best.
Yeah.
One of my favorite stories that Grace Damon likes to tell is of the first event that I was at that he heard of me. We didn't actually meet, but he heard of me because he was talking to some people, and it was our first Astray War that I went to with my two roommates. We didn't play locally. We just kind of went down and camped with the West Kingdom with my sister and just kind of hung out. And we would go down and we helped a bunch of camps just set up. You know, we went from camp to camp. We're like, hey, you guys need some help? We'll help you set up your camps. Because in our minds, the sooner we got them set up, the sooner we could go party. You know, that's what we were there for. And so Damon was talking to some people, and they were like, oh, yeah, we had some guy from Artemisia. They came by, and they were helping us with our camp, and they were helping us tear down and put everything away. And he's like, wait, from where in Artemisia? So, from Billings, Montana. He's like, no, those people are stealing your stuff right now. Because I know I'm from Billings. I know everybody in Billings, and I don't know these people, so no, they can't be from Billings. You better go back there and check your stuff, because I guarantee you they're stealing it right now.
Oh my God.
I was with him at that event. We were like, wait, we know everyone. We know everyone from Billings that came down.
Yeah,
we got them all identified, and yeah.
Oh, Duke Damon right there, true story.
Yeah, so the carrying stuff's always been my favorite form of service because, well, it's something I can definitely do.
That's pretty good. That is pretty good. Oh my gosh. Okay, so before we finish up with our last question, and I'm gonna let Annora ask the last question. She always likes to ask the last question. You two have nicknames, and a lot of times we just kind of gloss over nicknames, but Killian is known as the Sleeping Dragon. So
he always calls me the Beast of Bronzehelm.
So why exactly are you known as the Sleeping Dragon?
Sleeping Dragon is part of my device. When I was trying to come up with an idea for my device, at the time, I suffer from sleep apnea, rather severe case of sleep apnea. So we would go to camping events, and we'd go out and fight on the melee field all day, and I'd go back to the tent around 2 p.m. or so and just pass out in my tent, and there was sounds coming from our tent that I can't really describe because, well, I didn't get to hear them. I was making them.
He was asleep.
Yeah, I slept very loudly. It sounded like a dragon was sleeping in our tent. And so when we were coming up with my device, my wife says, because I told her I wanted to have a dragon on my device. And everybody always told, oh, there's no way you're going to get a dragon on your device. There's no way. Every iteration of a dragon on a device has been taken because the SCA is old and everybody wants a dragon on their device. So
yeah, that's true.
So I didn't have much hope for it, but she talked me into submitting, well, why don't we put a sleeping dragon and my sister had a son in her device, and I thought, I'd like to pay tribute to my sister and put a son in mine, but she had the full sun. I just wanted the half sun, and so we put the sleeping dragon under the noonday sun as my device. And that's how I became the sleeping dragon.
That's a pretty good one. And Sir Till, why are you known as the Lucky?
Oh man, that comes from a long time ago. I was new and kind of looking for a name, and I just had this series of fortunate events when people would just like, "Oh, you're so goddamn lucky! How did that come out?" And and it was just like, and it just kept being like this continuous thing. It's like, "Oh, that's just luck," and so it kind of stuck, and I kept it. I kind of enjoyed that, So yeah, I just these weird little dumb stories of like me being archery practice and nailing the William Tell shoot with my first arrow. I was like, "Oh, are we done?" And people were like, "You're just too lucky for words," And there was one time when I drove across town with a sword, an actual, like my little dress sword that I had. Drove across town with it on the roof of my vehicle.
Oh gosh!
Loaded up into another vehicle to go to an event. Left for the event. Came back and went, "Oh hey, my sword's still on top of my car." So, and it was it was dozens of little things like that, kind of, and people just like, "How are you so lucky?" So, yeah, it kind of stuck.
I don't think we really pay enough, homage to all of the nicknames, and I think that's really cool that we bring that to light and stuff. Penelope says, "Have you met Till's wife? He is lucky."
I'm pretty lucky.
Very
That's
lucky.
pretty awesome. I love Isabel. She's great. All right, so we're right at that mark, and I think we're going to go ahead and ask the last question. I'm going to turn it over to Annora because she would hit me mercilessly if I didn't let her ask it. Annora, you backstage? Going once? Going twice?
You're on mute.
Things not working. All right, I'll go ahead and ask it. How prepared has the SCA made you for the zombie apocalypse?
I would have to say very prepared.
Very prepared? Okay,
Very prepared.
take it away, Killian. How do you think? How well do you think?
Well, I've got swords in my house. That's a big plus. Not a lot of people can say
That's a
that.
good plus.
Let me reiterate. I have functional swords in my house.
Functional swords.
Yeah, there's a big difference. A lot of people have swords in their house. I have functional swords in my house.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very
Real
important.
sword. Yes.
And I don't know. I like to think that the SCA has given me some idea how to survive without technology as well. I don't know, because we do rely a lot on Walmart in the SCA. So there's that.
Walmart, just not currency. So
Yeah, it'll still be there. You just got to know where to look, right?
Right.
Shield wall tactics. Shield wall tactics, I think, would work great against zombies.
Yes.
So yeah, I think it has prepared us very well.
What about you, Till? How prepared do you feel?
Well, because I started playing a long time ago, I've got the one of the tricks for the zombie apocalypse is shovel handle spears. That was legal right when I started, and I was like, I'm getting me a shovel handle, and then they had to put on my spear, and then they outlawed them. It's like, what? That's ridiculous. Why would they do that? I just bought one. So I think getting a shovel handle on the end of your spear, and then kind of a wide blade that you could lop off heads from a distance. That's the best thing I know for that. Otherwise, I'll be like one of the early ones to die because no cardio.
Yeah.
No cardio. That's fair point. No cardio.
That really like food, so.
Oh yeah, that's true too. That and dropping logs on my foot doesn't help. Wood is my natural enemy.
Till will be all right. He's lucky.
Yeah. How is he so lucky? Just that really high luck stat. But
that's my whole character. It's just a luck stat.
Just dump it all in luck and see how it goes. All right. Well, thank you so much, guys, for joining us today. I'm sorry about the technical difficulties this earlier, but I think we got it worked through. Thank you so much, Sir Killian and My Knight, Sir Till. Thank you, everybody in the chat today for your questions and comments. It was wonderful. Do you guys have anything to add? Any dad wisdom for us before we leave?
Dad wisdom before we leave.
Yeah, you guys got any dad wisdom?
Oh man!
If you see a fork in the road, take it.
No, just enjoy the game. Just love it. Find the family that your chosen family. And because you just have so much enjoyment when you do that. You just spend time with the enjoyable people and doing something that we all love doing together. So yeah, do that. Continue doing that.
All right.
Spread it to other people.
Jay Hoffman said, "What about a spoon?"
Rachel said, "Wash your hands. Wash your hands after cutting jalapenos."
Yeah.
Wash. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful night.
Yeah.